welcome, Tim. Thanks for joining us. Well, let's talk about crypto. So the West Coast venture capitalists like you bet in early. And now we see Wall Street coming around. You have Paul Tudor Jones eliminating career risk by allocating to Bitcoin. And then you have Goldman Sachs's view that came out last week. What do you make of what's happening on Wall Street with crypto?
Well, I have a pretty good sense because we're investors in a lot of great crypto companies, Coinbase, Tezos, a lot of these currencies, and they have had a heyday during the lockdown. Mm-hmm. Things have gone very well. So here's what happened. All the early adopters were there and very impassioned and excited about what they were doing. And then the lockdown happened, and then people said, what is this crypto thing? Well, maybe I'll put together a Bitcoin wallet. Let's see what happens. And then they go, oh my gosh, I can keep all my money in something like this. I don't have to give it to that banker. And so they started to take their money out of banks and putting them into crypto. Well, naturally, that's going to freak out Goldman Sachs. They're going to be going, wait, what? Where's your money going? And because we like to control your money, because that's why we have the fancy suits like this one. And we have the big buildings and the fine cutlery and whatever. It's because we're using your money. We're taking your money and we're using it. And then we're, letting you have it back when you ask for it. Well, and we're the trusted third party. Well, now there's a trusted third party that is not nearly as greedy. And that is the Bitcoin blockchain. And all of a sudden on the blockchain, all the transactions, everything's being kept, the perfect records are being kept of every single transaction. And people are kind of going, wait a second, wow, I can put my money up here and I can do much better. And this money is not subject to political whims. It's not subject to like the government printing $9 trillion. You realize how big $9 trillion is? Our whole U.S. economy is something like 20 trillion. So they basically took a half a year of our economy and just flooded the market with dollars. And they're saying that's not even enough. Well, of course, they shut down the place. They got to pay for it. And so now the dollar's worth significantly less. So if you were holding dollars before the 9 trillion, all of a sudden you've been diluted significantly by this 9 trillion. And that tends to be the beginning of inflation. Well, that same thing, think about, we always thought, well, the dollar, everything's fine because the dollar is fine. Well, and sure, if you're in Argentina with a peso, you know that it's going to devalue about 30% a year. Or if you're in Nigeria with a naira, you know it's going to devalue 50% a year. Or Venezuela with a bolivar. They all devalue and everybody knows it. And holding on to those currencies is like a hot potato. And they've all started to adopt Bitcoin as their above government currency. Well, now I think the U.S. is starting to realize, hey, our currency is also subject to political whims. And we are going to need an alternative that doesn't dilute, that doesn't force inflation, that is easy, transferable, open, global, which is better than the dollar. Dollar isn't accepted everywhere. And it's transparent. It keeps a perfect record. And so all these people are starting to use it, and they're going, hey, this is great. And they're pulling their money out of the banks. And the banks, what do the banks have to sell? They have the opportunity to put your money in the bank, risking it in the bank where they're being hacked all the time, for 1-2% maybe on your money. Or they say you can buy some of our stocks. The stocks are seriously overvalued. Everything in the public market is seriously overvalued, particularly since we shut down the economy and 20% of the workforce isn't even working. we're not going to have the money to support those companies. So you don't want to put it into the public stocks. You don't want to put it into bonds. They're not paying out much. So where do you put it? You put it into private companies, venture capital, or you put it into crypto. You put it into Bitcoin because you know that is stable. You could try gold, but that's sort of like investing in history. Mm-hmm. It's not investing in the future. Or you could just buy some Bitcoin, hold on to it. You're going to see that it's going to grow and be worth more, and then you can spend it down the road. So here's what's happened to the world. The world has, first of all, the internet opened us all up, and the borders fell, and we all started to do business with each other, and we were all better off. When we can do business with each other, liquidity improves, the ability to transfer goods and services improves, markets are bigger, everything's better. The world really did grow over the last 12, 15 years in a big way. We were so much better off. And then what happened was this new currency was global. So it threatened the tribes. Right. We all got along very well with tribalism for many, many years. And now we realize that globalism's better. Mm-hmm. And now the governments who have been running the tribes are saying, uh-oh, I am at risk of becoming extinct. And so I need to adapt. So some of the governments are going, yeah, let's be an open, transparent, free market government. Let's make Bitcoin a national currency. Let's encourage entrepreneurs to try new things here. Great. And then the other ones are the fearful ones. And they're saying, no, we have to make this illegal. And what they do is basically they're cutting off all of their people from great new technologies to transform the progress of their country. And the rest of the world, our world is saying, no, we want to be global. And the tribal governments are saying, no, you have to be tribal. And the rest of us are all realizing that, no, this is one big globe. We're better off with global markets. And, when you put up a trade war, you're hurting your own country, you're hurting the other country, and both are going to sacrifice. They're both going to hurt. So if you want your country to do really well, what you do is you open everything. You say, we are open for business. Come on in. We'll trade with you. We'll do whatever. And many of the countries of the world are starting to do just that. And that's very exciting. And then some of the countries are saying, no, we want to control our people. China, under Deng Xiaoping, China grew at an extraordinary rate. The quality of life went up like crazy. The economy boomed. The entrepreneurial environment was just infectious. It was so good. I wanted to move there. Everything was going there. It was great. Everything was great. And then they got this new leader who says, no, I'm not going to be president for just these 10 years. I'm going to be president forever. And I own everything. And no one can send money across the border, and no one can leave this country. And now we're going to set up a trade war with our biggest trading partner, the U.S. Well, that basically has forced China into, during this 5 or 10 year period, they have lost momentum on their entrepreneurial energy. They've lost momentum on technological development. People say, oh, no, China's doing all this technology. Well, yeah, the government of China is taking some technology. Think of the government of the U.S. taking technology. It'll be like 20 years before they implement anything. They're taking this technology and doing something with it, but the people are not behind this leader. They're just afraid, And so when fear persists, bad leaders can thrive, and he is. So we got a bad leader in China, and I think trade wars, putting up barriers, putting up walls, it hurts you. And I'll tell you, this is the best way I can describe it. Let's say you have a great house, and we're the only two people on the earth. You have a great house, and I have a great farm. If we don't trade, you die of starvation, and I die of exposure. We've got to do a deal. Well, you multiply that by 8 billion people and trillions of dollars of economic value. And we need those deals to happen. We need them to be very liquid. And as those deals happen and they become more liquid, we all live a better life.
With regard to the banks that you've been talking about, are you excited about DeFi and eliminating the banks?
Well, DeFi is going to challenge the banks. See, you never really eliminate. It takes a long time to eliminate another way of doing things. People move very slowly. Some customers have this great loyalty to their bank. They never really want to change. And some customers are saying, well, wait, this is way better. I want DeFi. I want Bitcoin. I want a blockchain. I want my accounting to be done for me. I don't want to have to go pay an accountant to do it. So I think DeFi is it's pretty interesting because it's not only doing all the things that you can do with your bank, but it's doing new things that no bank could ever do. Micropayments, airdrops, new ways of moving money around or to different countries, new ways of employing people, of working with people, new ways of helping the gig economy, which we need really badly now because we've got 41 million unemployed in the US and about 10 times that worldwide. I think DeFi is a big opportunity, and people should be getting behind it. And you do sort of sidestep the bank. The bank has been taking 2.5% to 4% every time you swipe your credit card. You don't have to pay that anymore. So the world is changing, and it's going crypto, and it's going toward Bitcoin and the blockchain and smart contracts. And that is 5 years from now, you're going to go into a Starbucks and you're going to try to pay with dollars or with a credit card tied to a bank. And they're going to think of you as that little old person who's pulled out their little purse and they're taking a penny at a time and paying for their coffee and change. That's the way it's going to look. It's going to feel like you are in the distant past.
Tim, thanks so much for joining us today.